Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for Jay. I'm Buddy Fry, and let's queer up entertainment. The Met Gala represents the most queer moments in history. When it comes to high fashion, drama, and bold statements, the queer community doesn't just attend the Met Gala, they define it and define it well. From iconic entrances to political fashion statements, LGBTQ stars have left their heels, hats, and hearts on the Met steps, creating some of the most unforgettable looks in the event's history. Let's start with Andrew Scott, Janelle Monáe, Cole Escola, and Colman Domingo, who stunned at the 2024 gala. Symone's 2021 look was an explosion of beauty and power, while Dan Levy attended the 2021 Met Gala celebrating In America, a Lexicon of Fashion. Lady Gaga in 2019 delivered multiple looks in one, an entire performance art piece. Lena Waithe made two powerful appearances, one in 2018 and another in 2019. How can we forget the late fashion legend André Leon Talley in 2004? Billy Porter's unforgettable 2019 entrance and Lil Nas X's appearance in 2021? Designer Symone Porte, Jacquemus, and Bad Bunny appeared on the Met Gala red carpet in 2023. Even allies like Cardi B gave the queer community life with her in 2019. Needless to say, at the Met Gala, queer stars don't just walk the red carpet, they own it. So which Met Gala moment was your favorite? Last night, the Met Gala 2025 saw several prominent queer moments, especially with the theme of Superfine Tailoring Black Style, which highlighted Black dandyism and Black queer excellence. Celebrities like Colman Domingo, Doechii, and Kendall Jenner made notable appearances celebrating the theme and their personal styles. The event also featured a blue carpet with daffodils, a flower linked to dandyism and queer culture, further emphasizing the theme's relevance. I mean, come on. We're the gay community.
Come on.
I mean, Jesus.
Right.
You know, we're the gay community. We are creative at heart, and we explode with drama. Please. I mean, I'm surprised RuPaul wasn't up there at some...
She has been.
She's been there. But I'm just like, you know, of course we own the damn carpet. We built that carpet with blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of laughter along the way.
The designers especially built that carpet
Yes.
because overwhelmingly the male fashion designers in the last 50 years have been LGBT, have been gay men.
And it's super important this year because dandyism is a 1920s to 1940s movement in the African American community, mostly in Harlem, where they showed style outperformed what you could afford. You know, you chose your style based on what it was, and you made it something special. And I applaud the fact that they took that and ran with it. And then especially the Black queer community of the 1920s to the 1940s made it. Yeah. So
I'm curious,
applause.
Angel, had you heard that phrase before? It's been popular for the last week. Dandy and dandyism. Is that a phrase you had heard before?
Never heard of it before.
Yeah.
I mean, it right. Like I looked up a little bit to see, just like some of the looks, right? So, Cardi B. I don't know if that was the era they were looking for. Her designer, Daniel Lee, he mimicked a Victorian kind of gown. So is that what they were looking for?
Yeah, it was
a regal kind of.
It's all about
Showing.
It was showing in the Black community that
Peacocking.
you had, exactly, that you had style, and style wasn't necessarily based upon how much you could afford.
Okay.
It was about creating style that made you stand out.
Okay.
You know, it's about being creative, regardless of who you were in society.
So it's kind of like, I mean, I've watched the show Pose, right?
Yes.
It's kind of like Pose.
Yes,
Okay.
kind of like Pose. I mean, that's a modern version of dandyism.
It's a more modern version. The most powerful fashion voice in the world is Anna Wintour. And the executive editor of Vogue, it's one of the Condé Nast magazines. I was never a big fan of hers until this year. She's the inspiration of The Devil Wears Prada.
Exactly.
The character, Meryl Streep's character in The Devil Wears Prada is Anna Wintour. not a big fan of the character. It was an amazing performance, but not a big fan of how she operated and treats. And you wonder if she was that. This year, she softens my heart a little. And the reason is because it was very brave. This year, beyond the spectacular things that we watched on the carpet last night at the Met Gala, she softens my heart a little because she was so brave. She flies in the face of the rejection of diversity and inclusion with the Met Gala. So without being overtly political, without smacking Donald Trump, who was a New Yorker, in the mouth, she said, let's look at diversity and inclusion in a different way, and finds the thread to do it via fashion. And that's the reason I ask you about dandyism. I just want to point out a couple of things that maybe our viewers are not aware of. Dandy is a word that I was familiar with, but it is a negative word. It is calling you faggot, queer, effeminate. It's using, especially in the black community, you're a dandy from the 1920s. It was a slur. Dandyism was a reflection of peacocking in Harlem.
Showing off just a little bit.
And showing off just enough. And whether somebody agrees with the observation I just made on the word of dandy and dandyism, okay, well, that's up to your opinion. But Anna Wintour makes the decision that we're going to focus on this fashion moment in American history, just 20 blocks north of the Metropolitan in New York, in Harlem, and celebrating black men especially, and black gay men especially.
And lesbians, because black lesbians are known for the dandyism.
Oh,
and the tuxedos.
now see, I didn't know that.
I challenge you on the whole bit about it wasn't a political statement, because I've been reading reports that Anna Wintour goes out of her way to smack Donald.
Oh, well, no, wait.
So,
I don't mean that it wasn't a political statement.
Oh,
I
it was
mean,
a huge...
She went in a very sophisticated...
Yes, exactly.
Probably over his head in understanding of how political it was. And so that's one of the reasons I have new respect for the devil who is wearing Prada. Because she did this
very well, very eloquently.
She did it very, very well. Yeah,
I just wanted to go over my favorite look, right?
Yeah, sure.
Just wanted quick, right? So Bad Bunny, right? We also have allies at these galas.
Exactly.
Bad Bunny is one of my favorite, right? Yeah. He's the hottie caliente heartthrob, right? But he wore, I'm just wanted to say his look, right? Bad Bunny wore an all brown custom Prada suit featuring a double-breasted crop blazer. He accessorized his look with a brown straw hat, golden bedazzled gloves and sunglasses, and a leather bag by his side. So, we have allies. We have allies in the community. We have heartthrob allies. He's not necessarily a member of the community, right? He expressed publicly that he is a heterosexual, but he did say in a 2020 interview with Los Angeles Times that at the end of the day, I don't know if in 20 years I will like a man. One never knows in life, but at the moment I am heterosexual and I like women, end quote.
Fabulous.
So, we have allies.
One of the things to close the story conversation up that I think is really interesting in this dire kind of time that we are at. I encourage you to not only watch the carpet entrance, the media entrance, the canyon into the Metropolitan, the costuming is amazing. But go to your Google machine and type in dandyism and read about what the Devil Wears Prada was trying to tell all of us. It'll make you smile if you do that. Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by supporting and sharing Queer News Tonight.